Smileys Plastering, providing award-winning plastering and rendering services for over 25 years. I will handle everything from a small repair to a whole commercial building inside and out. Get a free quote day or night and every job gets a Smileys touch. Give us a call on 0417 730 926 or visit the website smileysplastering.com.au.
Glenn Turner, usually we get down to nutrition further on during an interview. We ask what is your favourite crave food, but we've got you sitting here, so nutrition's pretty important to you, mate. Explain what sort of part it plays in the life of a kookaburra.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's a big thing for me and the rest of the team because obviously what you fuel your body with gives you the best chance of performing. And I mentioned before, it's very hard to perform 6 days a week at a high intense level. So you soon find out that what you put in your mouth attributes a lot to your success or I guess a failure. So we do all our testing of skin folds, and we just had another fat test here not long ago. So I think it's pretty important that all the guys keep on top of their diet and just to get the best performance out of their bodies.
So where have you brought me to, and what's your favourite pick?
Yeah, it's Teo Cafe that me and a few of the boys come to a fair bit, probably a couple of days a week. The sushi train, we love it. Got the fresh coconut water here. It's really good. I like sashimi, which some of the guys don't like. That's the raw fish, or the raw salmon. And I basically like most of it now. At first I was just the tuna and rice man, and a few of the guys are still at that stage, but I've worked my way through. And for someone who didn't like seafood that much growing up, yeah, I'm a big sushi fan.
Mate, I noticed you haven't found anything that's made your hair grow back just yet.
Nah.
What's the story there?
I'm still working on that, you get on the internet and have a look, and but I noticed some of the Indian boys, their hair's growing back pretty well at the moment. I think they've got some good techniques over there. I might have to look into that next HIL. Yeah, I think for me, my granddad was bald really early. The men on my dad's side are bald. Dad had his hair for a long while after me though. Yeah, it was one trip. You can't hide much on the camera, I guess. And one of my first Australian trips in Melbourne, playing Champions Trophy. I played a couple of games, and a few messages from the boys back home just let me know that I was receding a bit and the hair was going backwards. So I kept telling them because I was running so fast, and that was why it was. But yeah, so soon after that, it sort of chopped it off, and I think that way everyone expects it now. That's who I am now. One of my nicknames now is the Bald Man, and yeah, I think a lot of guys worry about hair loss, I think, growing up, and I certainly did know my granddad was bald at like 21, so it was something I really didn't want to happen, but it did, and you got to embrace it when it happens, I guess.
You've been approached by anybody for a bit of advertising on the side?
One time I was talking to someone about something similar to that, but yeah, I think I don't know, never happens. So if anyone's out there can do a good job.
Well, mate, show us your shirt, because that's your new brand, is that right?
Yeah, that's a new hockey brand. Myself and Tim Deven started it up, so it's it's called Like and Hockey. It's really exciting for us, and hopefully it gets bigger and bigger every year. It's going really well, considering we're just starting out. But for us, we're trying to make a bit of a lifestyle brand, but it's about getting the best products out that we can, that we know we've used, we know the things that work, but also enjoying it. Our new sticks, hopefully you'll see a bit later, are really crazy designs. We had a graffiti artist help us out with that, so they're looking really cool, and it's just something a bit different in the market, but obviously with still the highest quality that we can get.
Well, mate, there's a perfect billboard there, so I reckon that logo
Yeah.
work well.
Well, I did say sponsors, if Olympics and that, if they give me enough money, tattoo on the head, but I think my nan and my mum wouldn't be happy with that.
Glenn, we've been talking about your family and your granddad, and I believe he was a bit of a sportsman himself.
Yeah, he was. Kevin Turner, he played rugby league for South Sydney and got a premiership with the Bunnies, so we're massive Bunny supporters, our whole family, and it's all because of him. And I think he had some kind of try scoring record too that Brett Stewart beat not that long ago. So he was very fast and scored a few tries, but yeah, he don't think he could tackle that well.
Now, I hear that you could have actually been a rugby league player yourself.
Yeah, I was, our whole family, my dad and his brothers and obviously my granddad, they're huge rugby league and rugby union background. And basically the way it started, the way I played hockey was, there was a bet. My dad played football for the local Barrel Blacks rugby union team, and my best friend who lived across the road, his dad played hockey for the Barrel Hockey Club. And as you do on a Saturday in a country town, play your game, go to the pub and have a few beers, and they did that every week. And then one day they said, "This is stupid. Let's have a bet. Whichever team finishes higher in the competition." Our families and the dads would play that sport for at least a year. So the hockey team won, obviously. I started playing hockey. Our whole family stayed playing hockey, and Dad, 1 year into hockey, went back to playing rugby again. But that was it. After that, because I had all my friends playing hockey, met some really good people, and the reason I still play hockey is the friendships and the mateships. So that's where it all started.
But Glenn, you're one of the rare kookaburras that isn't actually based here in Perth. Why do you travel?
Yeah, basically, I live in Goulburn, New South Wales, and when I first came, I got asked to come to Perth when I was 22, just after Junior World Cup, and I had a long-term partner. I just bought a house and a stepson, so it was pretty impossible at that stage. So I said no, and then thought that was my last chance. Obviously, when Rick Charlesworth came into the team as coach, he asked me again if I was keen to come over and play, but he knew the circumstances why I said no the time before. So he was very good in the way that he wanted it to work. I wanted it to work, so we worked out a system that I could stay home for a lot of the year and then come to Perth in patches. So Olympic year I come probably 6 months, World Cup was 4 months, and then like before tournaments a couple of weeks here and there depending what it is. So it's worked out for 7 years now, but obviously now I've got a little 7-month-old and also a 3-year-old, so it's getting tougher every time. But now with the Hockey India League and different things like that, they're able to come over to Perth and sometimes as well. So it's as hard as it is. We all know, and my wife's really good and my family are really good and really supportive, and we know it's really not that long to go, and we know the goals that I guess I'm trying to achieve with the team and in Rio this year. So everything else I guess goes a little bit on the back burner, but hopefully in the end it pays off, and I'll get back to the family as soon as possible.
Now, you also are very passionate about Goulburn. You had the opportunity to play in New South Wales, but what's the story behind you choosing to stay at ACT?
Yeah, I think it was a funny one. I lived in Canberra, so I played for ACT under 13s and 15s. And then I actually had a season with New South 16s, and it was a rule. I didn't go to talent camp, so I wasn't allowed to be selected in the first team, and I played in the second team, and it was good fun actually, a touring team. And but I played as fullback, and I never played fullback before, so it was something I didn't really enjoy. Besides the tour, it was really fun. But then the year after, I went back. I was playing in Canberra club hockey anyway, and I got asked to fill in for a Lakers trial game, the AHL team. So I played because they had short numbers, so I played that, and then I got asked by the coach to come to 21s trials. It was a week before 21s ACT was picked, and I missed out because it was too close. But that year, a few weeks later, I actually made my AHL debut. So I was 17, and then just stayed with ACT. Obviously played ACT under 18s and made the Australian team that toured to New Zealand that year. And it all went from there with ups and downs. Obviously got dropped to 21s, had glandular fever, and probably for the young kids out there, I was probably enjoying myself a bit too much off the field as well, so that impacted on that. And then yeah, like I said, in 22 was felt really good, but circumstances back home didn't allow me to come to Perth, and I was very lucky to get a second chance. And I think when you get a second chance like that, and being a bit older, a bit more mature, I knew that was it. So I had to grab it with both hands, as they say, and make the most of it and improve myself as a player and a person, and try to get as many games for the Kookaburras as possible and many major events. So that's where I'm now.
All right, Glenn, everyone's favourite part of the interview, the fast fire questions. So let's start with favourite colour.
Blue.
Favourite band.
Mostly into like the top 10s and things like that. Yeah, so not
pop
really
music,
a band.
yep.
Yeah, pop music, I guess.
Favourite movie.
Forrest Gump, I like that.
Worst roommate you've ever had, and why?
Well, yeah, I live with Govers all the time, and he's pretty bad because he just looks at himself all day and takes photos of himself all day. But he's pretty quiet, so he's not too bad. Probably Sorello because his stories.
Okay. Place in the world you'd really like to go to.
Rio.
Best goal you've ever scored.
Probably 2010 World Cup semi-final. I scored a push from about a metre out to get us into the final against Holland, 2-1 win. So that one, I scored a nice one the other day versus Malaysia in a trial game over the keeper's head. But yeah, best goal was definitely the one to get us in the final.
Tell us something about you that people wouldn't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that before, but not much. I guess the one thing is that I don't mind a strawberry daiquiri every now and then. So when I go away on holidays, that's one of my favourite drinks, and I get in trouble off my wife all the time about it. So.
Glenn, it would be fair to say that you're one of the oldest Kookaburras.
Yep.
Certainly had a run with injuries over your career. So what duration do you see left, and what's after hockey for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think at the moment, I'm definitely one of the older crew. Jamie's still good that Jamie's hanging around because he's got a few years on me. But I'm feeling better than ever. I've had 2 hip surgeries. I've had a broken foot last year. Had a torn pec off the bone, so that was interesting. That's normally a football injury, so that is interesting. But like I said, my beep test and all the scores on that are really good at the moment, and I'm feeling pretty good leading into Rio. So fingers crossed all goes well. After hockey, I've actually got a gym starting at the Canberra National Hockey Centre in Canberra. So that's something that I've always been interested in since I was a young kid. But I guess with hockey and things like that, I haven't had the chance, and this opportunity came up. So really looking forward to that. Don't know exactly where I'm going, but it's going to be an opportunity for me to, I guess, share some of my experiences with people in every industry, whether it's just to get healthier or anything like that, or young athletes trying to get to the next level. I think for me that's a bit of a passion. So hopefully it can turn into something like that, and I can be pretty hands-on there and enjoy that time of life. After hockey, I'll still play a lot of hockey, and I noticed the 35 vets have started not long ago, so only a few more years for me to get to that, and they seem to have a lot of fun. So I think for me, I'll always be around hockey, but I look forward to the next chapter of my life.
Are we more likely to see you at the next Olympics or the next Masters World Cup?
I'm a statsman, like I said before. There's definitely more chance I'll be at the Masters World Cup. But you never know, you never say never, and obviously with the gym and things like that, I'll always keep myself fit and healthy, and I think I was going to retire after the last Olympics and then after the World Cup, and then now I'm having another crack at this one, so you never say never, but as long as I'm enjoying it, having fun, and feel that I can still play a part, then I'll be around.